All right, good morning. I can't believe we're already here, but we're in Series 5, Episode 4. I'm absolutely blessed to be joined by these two today. So you two, would you be kind enough to introduce who you are and what you're working on at the moment?
Do you want to go? Okay. Hi, I'm Sharlene, and I'm
Vikki.
and we're co-founders and directors of Role Resolve Therapy, which is a creative therapeutic company. I think that probably sums up it as a whole, but there's lots of different components to it.
Okay, fantastic. And we met each other through Derby and through the things you were doing up there with Ollie and the game changers and stuff. So, you know, what is the purpose and the impact of what you're working on? Describe it for people who don't know it. And in particular, how did you start? Like, what was the inspiration for all this stuff?
So we was doing our degree in counselling and psychotherapy, and we came across Tabletop Roleplay. And so if you're an avid Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer player, then you will probably get the concept. It's a lot quicker than someone who hasn't. And we had a conversation with some guy at Comic-Con who was using basically those games to work with ex-veterans and people up in London. And we was like, oh, this sounds really great. And we didn't really think a lot of it from our work perspective. But then we started talking to people and we was like, there's so many correlations that you can actually use to create a different type of therapeutic approach. And we just wanted to do some research and found out if we was either just a crazy idea or if it would actually work. So we got a scholarship through the university in our second year, and then we just looked at how we could use the mechanics of tabletop role play to alleviate social anxiety, but incorporating psychotherapy principles. And then we was quite taken back by the results of that research, which we are currently still writing up at the moment, and hopefully will be done by the end of the summer. So that'll be released. But then on the back of that, we got the opportunity to be in what's called an Actus, which is part of a university programme. And then we also got the opportunity to trial the games at an SEND school. So we sort of then started condensing and refining what we was doing. And I'm late diagnosis neurodivergent, as is Sharlene, and we're raising children who are awaiting assessments for neurodiversity. And that's something with us that we see where children struggle, and we notice our own struggles from like when we was younger, and we started to refine it and look at how we can use that system for both mental health and for children in education to meet their EHCP targets and work on that social emotional learning and communication skills between different neurodivergence. So that's basically where our passion sort of comes from with it as well.
And
I can literally feel the passion coming through the screen.
And there's sort of the impact we've seen. So it started off with testimonials. I mean, we see it every time we run sort of a 6-week intervention. You sort of how the kids come in to how they leave is like we just literally see that transformation before our eyes. But that's our perception. So it's proving that efficacy and the impact. And we know that the teachers see it. But so to start with, it was very testimonial based, and we got incredible feedback, but we knew that we need to take it a step further and start measuring it from actually getting the kids' voices in for how they found it. And that's what we're refining. So we've started off with questionnaires for teachers and pupils, and it's something that's a work in progress to refine that, to capture the data as much as possible, to represent them, to represent that sort of full picture from a teaching aspect, just to sort of quantify that impact.
Amazing. I mean, what a mission to be on, right? And go on.
No, I was just going to say, it's like, even though I think we've been doing the impact reporting for the last couple of months, and that alone has shown that over 75% of the children who we worked with have said how they've grown in confidence. There was 2 other points as well, because there's 3 for like over 75.
They were, should know this off by heart.
And then we had, the main one for me was 100% of the children who we worked with said they were more confident in speaking out in a group. And the amount of children that may sit there and really struggle to voice their opinion because they're in a group worried about being judged, or that level of shame that might come on if people do judge you. And to think that just by spending time within this group that we've created, that they now feel more confident to voice their opinions, I think is just, for me, one of the most powerful things that I've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. I mean, you both are moms, right? So how many kids have you got between you?
I've got 2.
I've got 5.
Okay, you've got 7 kids between you. You both went back as mature students to university. You're pulling this stuff together. You're looking after your kids. How on earth do you fit everything in?
Just do.
I think because it's something that you're passionate about, you find a way.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be, you know, I've done it myself before and I've gone, oh, I haven't got time to do that. And before going to university, I did do a few small entrepreneurial roles where I was self-employed. And I think the biggest, because I was doing life coaching, and the biggest thing for me is, and this isn't a judgment, but for me personally, my children are my reason. They're not the reason that I can't find time to do something. They're the reason that I do find time to do something. And as long as they're happy and they're still doing what they're doing, I'll make the time around them to make sure that I can still make us a better life together as well.
We was literally having this conversation earlier, actually, and it's sort of, we're doing what we do so our kids can have the life that we didn't. But it sort of ties in. It's sort of, we're doing it, like Vikki said, for them, but also for all the other kids who have struggled. And it's sort of experiencing what we've experienced, sort of as like sort of, you know, growing up and all those things, and witnessing how other kids struggle. It's making that difference. It's making a difference for sort of, for all the kids who didn't have the support that our kids didn't have, that we didn't have. So it's that sort of double-edged thing, really.
I think mine comes from both of them, because as I said, I have got 5 children, but mine are in like groups. So like got my elder 3, one's got his own baby now and lives with his girlfriend. He's 27 this month. And then I've got one away at university, and then the other one told me the other day that he's thinking of joining the army. So they're quite out there doing their own things and rolling their 20s. And then I've got my other 2 who are 9 and 15. And the things that with kids don't come with a manual, and you do make mistakes, and you do, like, you know, if I'd have known what I know now, like that level of support that I could have gave one of my sons, who I know he's waiting for an ADHD assessment. And I just think if I'd have known what I know now, he might have got that bit of extra support before now. And if I can bring that to my younger 2 now and support them on their journeys, then that's enough for me to be able to say, this is what I need to do to make that life better for us in that respect.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to ask you a couple of things about Derby and about Canopy in a minute, but one thing I'm really curious about, because you guys didn't know each other before you went to university, right? You met on that course, from what I remember. So what do you think makes you great co-founders together? What is the dynamic between you?
I don't know.
I don't see. We literally met on our first day. So the induction. So we were both in foundation year, and so literally our first day of foundation year.
It wasn't even the first day of foundation. It was the induction day. So I think like 3 weeks before we actually started university, and I was late because I was fashionably.
All the bags came in and sat down next to me, and that was it. We've been friends since.
It's like just found the first chair in the room.
Yeah, and I think I think because we're very like-minded, we have very similar. We have lots of different views on things, which is great because we debate, but we have the core values and I think our approach to life, our view on life. I think we're both sort of very positive, optimistic, hardworking, and we have this sort of those values that sort of drive us through. And also, we were able to, I think,
it's a comfortability as well, because we spoke about like a networking event, for argument's sake, or you go and there's so many people, and like I struggle with overwhelm, I struggle with that, like that imposter syndrome and them things all set in. But I think because we are quite the same and have them insecurities ourselves, like we've worked on them and we're not there now, but we was prior to like what we've been working on. And it's knowing that we had that safe space as well, where we just sort of instantly connected to be like, I've had enough of these guys now. Like, they're all really nice people, but I need my space. And like to have that space within each other to be like, let's leave. Because entrepreneurial roles can be really isolating. So I think it's been really nice to have someone who you can just, I'm going to use the word unmasking, because I think for females, we tend to do that anyway. But you can unmask and be yourself around that person is like, it's quite a rare thing to find in someone.
And I've watched you too. I mean, you're very safe with each other, but you're also very robust with each other at times, right? You say it as it is to each other and work it through. It's quite special.
I think it's, to be honest, it's something that's been commented on a lot, is that
we can have a heated debate in a meeting, like literally voice our opinion, disagree on it, come to a reasonable adjustment, work through it, and then walk out and get a coffee, and we're absolutely back to our normal selves.
And I think
and that's all in about 3.5 minutes, right?
Yeah, that is so. And I think with all relationships, people think it's like sort of, you know, like romantic relationships, but friendships, and especially business, because we are such good friends as well as business partners, is be able to repair any conflict. That's absolutely critical, because it's keeping hold of both aspects, and both are really, really important. So yeah, and I think it's one of those things that's been commented on, that we have quite a rare relationship.
Very vocal, but we know how to communicate, and I think because communication is a massive part of our business, like we're working with children in order to be able to communicate how they're feeling, communicate with each other, learn about each other's communication styles. So if we didn't know how to do that between each other, then how would we be able to go and teach that to other people? It seemed quite contradictory. So
yeah, absolutely. The other thing I've noticed when I go to Derby and I know I'm going to meet you is that I start smiling as I'm walking towards the meeting. It's absolutely hysterical. I don't know what's in the water or what happens, but it's kind of like, I know it's not going to be dull when I arrive.
Yeah. Thanks.
So let's give a hat tip to Ollie for a sec. Yeah. So a little chat for a second about Derby and Ollie, and you know, what have you got out of the game changes and the stuff that Ollie's helped you with up there?
Well, Oliver is literally like, he's our greatest cheerleader, and I think I'm so grateful that we walked into Oliver's office after doing our research, because that's what we did. We was like, oh, this research has got really good results, and then we spoke to the careers department, and Chris, you need to speak to enterprise, and then we literally met Oliver within a week, and then I don't think he's left our side like literally since that day, and that was like in our second year. And he's been so supportive, like any bit of information we've needed, any competition, anything that he can think of that might help us and support us, and he's always that person to go to. And I mean, he doesn't just do that for us, he does that for a variety of students, and he's a great person, and I would say I will advocate for Oliver all day.
He's been, and the great thing about Oliver is that he doesn't sugarcoat anything with us either. It's right if he thinks that we're being I don't know.
So for argument's sake, we did our first Pitch Perfect. So before the game changes, the year before it was Pitch Perfect, and it wasn't on the same level as like what happened when you was there. And it was 4 judges in a room. So we'd only ever done like PowerPoints or like pitching when we've been in our previous jobs and stuff like that. So actually pitching a sales pitch like for our own business was just like, oh my God. And then we was like, what do we do? So we put this presentation together, and we went and did the pitch, and there was this room, they were all sat in the room, and Oliver was sat at the table with them, and literally we presented, and Oliver went in front of all the judges, bear in mind, I'm really disappointed.
I know you can do so much better than that.
And then, and he walks us out, and he was like, I was saying it because I mean it. I was like, okay.
Wow. Okay.
So I think where we can be that like with each other, he's like that with us. But we take on board everything that we say, and he'll go, I think we did our last pitch for the Game Changer, and he was like, yeah, it's perfect. And I was like, oh my God, put this date in your diary. It's like, no comments. I think he's that great critique, but also like someone that you can go to for information is amazing.
And that you know, I called Ollie a couple of weeks ago, and I said thank you to him for the Game Changer stuff, because for me in the first half of this year, that was one of the really big smile moments, and doing that evening. What do you remember about the evening? What's your lasting sort of memories from that?
Apart from winning.
Well, you got some big checks, right? You got some big money out of that. That was great.
Yeah, we did.
I think the other people though that participated, like the young girl that came and she was sat next to me, and like just the way that they got up there and presented in that room full of people was like, it was so inspiring, because it's not easy. Like, it isn't. I mean, we did it, was it the week before or 2 weeks before, when they launched the Chancellor's Entrepreneur Club, and Theo Cletus was there, and like some of the chancellors and of the university, and I think there was, I don't know if there was actually more on that day than there was at the
way
Game
more.
Changer.
Yeah, it was standing room only when we did
it. Was
Theo
daunting. It was so daunting, and we thought it would be like, oh well, it can't get any worse than that. But I feel like it was just on par, to be honest, because it's the pressure that sits there, and you've got to get it right. So to see like them younger ones come in and just be like, yeah, that's fine, I've got this, I was like, it's amazing. So I think that for me was a standout moment. And then
I think it was the vibe. There was it was such like very sort of community vibe on the night. There was just a lovely sort of, we're all in it together. It didn't, although it was a competition, it didn't feel like a competition.
Well, we had that with the People's Choice, because I think there was also Michael, who was like neck and neck. And he says afterwards, he
was getting all his friends to vote in, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I was like, you need to stop this. But it was like, even though like it's a competition, it was a friendly competition. And like, if Michael would have won, we would have absolutely been there and been his biggest cheerleaders. And he was exactly the same for us. So I think that was like, because we'd worked together on projects anyway all year, it's just really nice to have that atmosphere of, it's a competition, but we've all got each other's back as well. And I think that's one thing that Derby is really good at, the students that come through.
Amazing. Well, a nice segue there in terms of the Canopy stuff. So you did the People's Choice piece, and then we did the interview and stuff. What's happened for you inside Canopy so far? Have you had any value out of being part of the community?
We haven't utilised it as much as we should have done. And I printed off the whole plan, and we have met with
Pedro, we've met with
Barrage,
and
nice.
We have had a couple of conversations. There was some female founders as well. I think we had to cancel one, and one of them had to cancel one, but they're being rescheduled. But for me, Canopy, it's like there's so many people within there that you can come and chat to. And I mean, unfortunately, I had a bereavement as well, which just took quite a lot of time out of what we've been able to do. But yeah, you printed that off this week, didn't you? So we're going to go through that and like start reaching out to people and getting back on track with everything.
Also,
I'm glad you've got your incubation plan.
Yeah, we have, and I think because we're sort of we've redone. So since actually we've spoken, we've got a branding sorted. So now I've got a new logo, got a new branding for Role Resolve. I've had a website redone, and we've sort of really, so like Vikki mentioned prior to us coming on, which we'll cover in a minute, about sort of the women and wellbeing. We've actually separated it now into 4 sections. And although we're obviously not doing all of it at the same time, it's sort of giving us focus on sort of prioritising. And
but we've also built a team as well. So we realise that there is, me and Sharlene can't do everything on our own. And the only way we work in education, and our passion is working in education and, being there for the next generation. And we know we can't go into every school ourselves single-handedly. So we've got a team now that come out, we're training them to deliver the intervention. We're hoping that they can be kind of like train the trainer, and like they can then go out and do that. But we've also want to adapt what we was doing, which was always part of the plan, is to go into workplaces. But we're going into the corporate side. It's like that is definitely a passion, because psychological safety in the workplace is so important. But we realise that concentrating on education and the workplace at the same time is quite tricky. So we've had someone join us who will be graduating next year. So he's still a student at Derby University. He's going to be the head of our workplace interventions. So it's the same interventions that we're adapting and just changing who the target audience is for that. And then we have got a CIC. We've got a limited company in a CIC. And another student who's just about to graduate is joining us to oversee the homeschooling and looked at children who are looked after by care, who will be bringing the same interventions through the CIC to apply for funding. So we've got different aspects to what we're doing, but building a team has been really important to us at the minute, because we know that we can't do all that by ourselves. So it's been a stepping stone, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Amazing. So much going on all the time. All right, well, turnaround's fair play. Have you got any questions you want to ask me in this thing?
So what got you into entrepreneurial roles?
My blessing and curse is that I'm an only child.
Right.
So some people have reflected that it might be an ADHD quality as well, but basically I'm not good with other people's rules. I'm used to making my own rooms.
I feel attacked.
Therefore, and I did a little bit of work in corporate loan consultancy life and stuff, but I basically started building my first company at 26.
Oh, wow.
And I created the space that I wanted for me. I built that with a couple of folks, which was really great. And we did 13 years from start to finish in that one and internationalized it into a couple of different countries and stuff. And since then, I've done 10 other companies and built incubators in places and stuff. And just started the 11th company with a couple of friends, which is an investment fund for Canopy. But yeah, it's the frustration in me is just basically not appreciating other people's systems very well. Some people can sit in those and work within them. I just get annoyed by it and feel I need the agency to change. So I create rooms that have that in them. And then I try and give that agency to other people when they're within the same space as well. It's just how I'm built. It's very frustrating for me and for those around me, but it is just what inspires and compels me to do these things.
Absolutely.
I can kind of relate to that. I'm an only child and definitely an ADHD thing as well. But yeah, I think I've worked in like the legal sector, I've worked in insurance, I've worked in different like sales and commercial roles. But I was like, I don't like playing by somebody else's rule book. I don't. And I'm like, I want to build my dream and I want them to achieve their dream, but I want to build my dream and not somebody else's. And it's great when we can all get to the top together kind of thing. But I think, yeah, definitely not playing somebody else's like rule book and do my own thing is a massive thing for me, is why I always want to be self-employed.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So is there sort of like, from what you've experienced, because obviously you've worked with like lots of founders and entrepreneurs, is there a common sort of either character aspect of somebody or an outlook that you see time and time again that makes them successful? Do you know what I mean? It's like, is there a common thread?
Yeah. I mean, probably the single most important thread I see in people that do this stuff and are successful in it is that they want to do it. It's a deliberate choice. And I know that seems odd to say, because of course it's a deliberate choice, why not? But the people that falter are the ones that actually aren't fully committed to it. Like some of this stuff is really difficult. And when you choose it and you choose it deliberately and you choose it and you put both feet into it, you get through those things. But when it's not quite a thing or there's something better or whatever, you don't tend to get through those moments. So either break or you just simply leave and go and get a job somewhere and make it all much more stable. And that's fine. Different people are built in different ways and they do things for themselves that fit in their lives. But the ones that are successful entrepreneurs, they just genuinely want to do it this way. Get on with it.
That's really
I think it comes down to a lot of like resilience and pushing through. Yeah. And having faith that you'll get there, but also resilience. Like people say, it's standing up against all this pressure and stuff. It's actually living with the downside as well. Like there are some things that don't go well. You are strong with it, but it fails. And now what you have to do is pick yourself up and get on with it again. And that's not always easy either. In life and in business, it can be quite flooring to go through some of those.
And I think that's the value of us doing the journey together, is that, on the days that it is difficult and, you have setbacks or, it's like the financial impact of it all, And
the fact that we're therapists, so we can free therapy.
It's like we're therapists, we definitely don't therapize each other at all. We're brutal. But we're great therapists with everybody else. Just like caveat that. But I think that's the thing. I think that's probably the biggest value that we have, is that we can celebrate together, but we also can hold each other up on, when it is tough. So I think
it's huge.
It's like that, isn't it? With the journey of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I mean, in these sort of 11 companies I've done, I've also been involved in over 50 different board teams. And, you know, I've been a good, bad and indifferent founder and co-founder in different companies. And I've also worked with good, bad and indifferent. So I've seen all these different journeys at that level. And it's amazing how that quality of investing in each other and helping each other through that is what really makes the biggest success. It's not always about skills. It's about how you give yourselves that longevity from that team structure. And as an only child, watching teamwork and like being part of teamwork isn't always the easiest. But then when you see the value of it, it sort of draws you in to do a bit more of it and to try and find some new skills in that space.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to get to the bit where I ask you for your best advice for a first-time founder. But before I do, I know you guys are launching something soon. So do you want to tell people about that? And who is it you want to come and try this stuff out?
Females. So on the back, before going to university, I did a lot of direct sales and multi-level marketing. And through COVID, I did a lot of that because I had to leave my job because my daughter was classed as vulnerable, and she's 9 now. She was a lot younger then, and I didn't want to. I was told not to send her to school, and so the whole thing was at home. And I was like, how can I make money basically while still being at home? And direct sales was a really great opportunity for me, and it kept our head above water. But I also know the struggles that come with direct sales, how isolating it can be, and also that, you know, you use social medias to promote what you're doing. And sometimes that can be a space which isn't really that safe for females when they're working. And, you know, you can look for collaborations, and there's a lot on there and people do amazing. I mean, I did, and those social platforms are great. But we wanted to create a space where female founders, whether you're a startup or whether you're someone who's really successful, can have I don't want to use the word social media again, but I can't think of the right word.
A community space.
Yeah, so it's going to be on an app. The website's almost ready. We're just going to refine it today, and then it's ready to be launched into an app. It's going to have a free profile. Anyone can come up and set a profile up if you're a female founder, self-employed, whatever it is you do, and you can use the services on there to share and connect with other people and look for collaborations. But then there is going to be paid tiers where you can we have a middle one which is like $9.99 a month, where you can access different types of training. You can build groups on there for your team if you're building a team, and promote your services. And then we have another one which is, it's not overly expensive, but it's a little bit more expensive. But if we have like networking events in person, you'd get priority tickets. You can come and host a networking event and we'll support you. And then once a month, we'll have like Founders Day online, where we'll jump on a call and, you know, people can ask us questions. We'll get other founders to get involved in that, but also a space for founders who have made it and they're looking to invest in other females. They can come and jump on the app and be like, I'm looking to support females in mental health businesses or engineering businesses. And I know I've got knowledge in that, so I can help. So it's just that space where we can help each other make it, basically.
Okay, and when does that go live? When can people start to click through?
It should be live in the next couple of, I'm going to say by next week, but the app's going to be called Inspira, so Inspira, which is a short abbreviation, we think, for Inspire Her. Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, and we'll put a little link in the episode so that people can find that when it's gone live. All right, magic.
Amazing.
So now's the time to finish up. Role models as you are, people's choice winners as you are in the community, what is your best advice for a first-time founder watching this? What should they be thinking about? What should they be doing?
I'm going to say passion. Go with what you're passionate about, because entrepreneurial roles or setting up your own business can be a risk. And one of the biggest sayings that stays with me is you've got to be prepared to live how some won't, so you can live how others can. And I think someone said that to me years ago and it stayed with me. And it's so hard work sometimes. The hard days are hard. But if you're doing something that you're genuinely passionate about, that keeps it alive. That's for me the one thing that keeps me going every day, because I know what I'm doing has a purpose, it serves a purpose, and I'm passionate about it.
I would say make sure you have your cheerleading network, because that's your support system. Because on the days when it's not going great, having somebody or people just to bounce off, to pick you up, but also to celebrate the wins with as well, to say, you know, oh my God, that is absolutely amazing. You're doing so well. Sometimes that is just the push you need. And it's having that, I think it's having that combination that is so powerful.
Amazing. What great advice. And, you know, as I say, when I go to Derby and I know I'm going to meet you two, I'm always smiling, right? It's a magic feeling. You bring so much positivity to the things that you do, and you're such great citizens as well, and the way you help other people and support people and hold other people up. It's really lovely. Thank you so much for being here today and for being part of the community and for sharing your story. I hope somebody watching this says, do you know what? Now I've seen those two, I'm going to go do this too. That'd be amazing.
I'd love that. I would love to know that as well.
Yeah, I would.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.